listening to the Cosmic Celebrity Podcast, where spiritually gifted persons receive information and tips on awakening their consciousness to develop and integrate their abilities in their daily life through spiritual growth. Here's your host, Athena Lucine.
I harmonize in order to survive, modeling instinct. I seal the store of life force with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of universal water. Welcome to episode 36 of the Cosmic Celebrity Podcast here at the one and only AthenaLucine.com. On this episode, we'll be talking about why it's time for you to stop caring about people who don't get you and, worst of all, oversharing with them, right? You also receive intuitive energetic downloads and healing that's going to naturally realign you to your natural frequency, the natural frequency of your unique, energetic, divine essence and soul imprint, right? So what does all that means? So every time that you engage with life or interact lovingly, right? Every time that you have that really conscious awareness in the conversations with others, in your own self-talk, every time that you make an empowering decision for yourself and live life, live your truth, right? Live your truth out loud, whatever version that looks like for you, whether it's sticking and focusing to the things that truly nourish you and truly give you a sense of aliveness and happiness and joy, and truly, essentially living your purpose, right? Every time you do that, and the more and more you reflect that in the different areas of your life, you are living and embracing your cosmic celebrity, right? Your cosmic divine self, the part of you, your inner spirit, that you're allowing to blossom. And so each of us have a unique energetic signature, I like to call it, that the Creator has gifted us through the creation of life and all of the existence, really our existence. So when the Creator created us with a unique energetic imprint, right? And it's the soul signature that we emanate and radiate when we connect, when we are connected through our spirituality. So I really want to dive right in with this one. This is one of my favorite ones. And the reason I say that is because it's so personal to me. This was so personally transformative for me when I came to the realization and the epiphany of exactly how powerful it is to just stop caring so much about people who didn't get me and people who judged me, people who misunderstood me, people who, in their minds, was so convinced that the way that they perceived me based on maybe their limited conscious expansion was the absolute truth about who I was as a person, right? And I also realized that I'm a very open and transparent person, and I was oversharing things about my internal dialogue, things about the way I felt about the world and the way I felt about people and the way I perceived life, right? From a very spiritually awakened standpoint, I was totally oversharing that with people who didn't get me, who didn't get it, who didn't understand really spirituality in an evolved sense. And the minute I had this epiphany, I realized, you know what? I'm not going to share certain aspects with myself with persons anymore. And the persons who really, really got it, and the persons who really got to experience me, and in terms of on a deeper level, like my internal dialogue, right? Those persons had to earn that right. Those persons had to be persons who respected me, persons who demonstrated unconditional love and respect towards me. So they were respectful of my boundaries. If they spoke to me very respectfully, their attitude towards me was that of respect. And it showed. It showed in the way that they engaged with me, in the ways that they kept their word with me, in the ways that they complimented me, and was always looking to uplift me and point out my strengths, and also lovingly point out my weaknesses, right? Because I do believe that on some level, that healthy relationships also involves, lovingly sharing with someone else areas that they can improve on, right? But it's all about the delivery. So is it loving, uplifting, constructive criticism, or is it just outright criticism? So before I get on a tangent, let me just stay on point here. The minute you stop caring about the wrong things and the wrong people who are not even a part of your life, your household, the core of your existence, right? So the minute you stop caring about people, your coworkers that may not like you, or friends that you may have outgrown, or even family members who truly don't get you and they're really hurtful and mean-spirited towards you. I think we all have that family member or two or more that is really like destructive, and really for whatever reason, whether it's jealousy, whether it's not being able to see their own light and have an issue with you, or try to take you down, or try to be very unloving and unkind to you just because of your light, just because of your pure heart, just because of the certain traits about you, the certain strengths that you have, the certain talents that you have, right? So it's don't overshare your internal dialogue with the wrong people, because with persons, particularly who don't have a stronger sense of evolvement, they're going to first of all, they're going to misunderstand what you're saying. If you're talking to them about your spiritual gifts, your mystical gifts, they're not going to know, because this is not their firsthand experience, right? Because they're not as spiritually connected and they're not as conscious in their evolution, partly because they haven't done the work, right? Whether in past lives, whether in the current life, they don't care about striving and personal development and growth. And that's okay. There's no judgment. But the very essence of you and the symptoms, I shouldn't even say symptoms because it's not a symptom. It's just a trait of someone who's mystical. Someone who's a mystic really cares about being the best person that they can be, and furthermore, bringing the best version of themselves to others, right? Persons who are not really aligned in this way don't care about bringing the best version of themselves to the situation. They're in scarcity mode. They're in lower dense vibrational livity, where they don't think about how they can improve their life. It's kind of backwards, where they think about, well, how can I steal someone's joy today? Right? And as a mystical or spiritual gifted one, you may feel like you're like a magnet for this type of attraction sometimes, right? But the key to that, to shift that, is to start loving and appreciating yourself and setting healthy boundaries. And you will no longer become a magnet for those types of dense attractions with other people who are just not meaning you well and draining and depleting your energy. So I find that you care way too much about what the wrong people or the people who are not, benefiting your life have to say about you, your abilities, where you live, how you dress, your mannerism, your demeanor, whether they think you're weird or this or that. Just shift your focus. Shift your focus from people who don't even have the capacity of getting you. And I've said this so many times in so many ways, and I will continue to do it until it hits home with you. Stop caring about people who are not feeding you, clothing you, sheltering you, uplifting you, benefiting your life, empowering you, supporting you, being there for you in your hard times, your adversities, whether it's that divorce, whether it's that time when a parent transitioned for you, whether it's that time when you were having a difficult time, in your pregnancy, or whatever the situation. Think back to the people who were always there, that just called just because they want to check on you, make sure you're okay. What's up with you? They're just calling just to say what's up with you, even if it's just to give a listening ear, even if it's just to encourage you and share some positive words with you. You know the difference when people are sharing positive and, not so encouraging positive words with you. Stick to the people who are sharing positive words with you. This is really basic and simple. And I've decided, I've made a clear intention that I'm going to be very direct in my approach when I speak to you every time, because it's time for you to now shift your focus to the things that's beneficial for your life and stop focusing and flowing your energy and indirectly creating and perpetuating a sense of more manifestations of the things you don't want. I know you want to stop hurting. I know you're ready to dig deeper. I know you're ready to understand and nurture these abilities and really use them to maximize your life and be a blessing to your own life and to other people. But you can't do it if you're worried about people who are refusing to show up to you or for you in a way that you want them to, or in a way that you do for them. It doesn't matter. Start focusing on the people who are showing up for you in the way that you do. Stop sharing your inner dialogue with people who frankly don't care because they're worried about their own problems, worried about their own kids, how they're going to pay their own bills, how they're going to do this, how they're going to do that for themselves. Stop worrying about selfish people. Stop worrying about trying to cultivate relationships with people who they don't care or don't want to demonstrate the kind of love that you're demonstrating for them. And then every time they don't, you get disappointed. But I'm trying to lovingly show you that you are creating this for yourself. Because people who don't care about you or don't care about how you deeply perceive the world as a deep mystical thinker, right? And visionary, right? They don't care about what you're talking about, okay? They might pretend like they do a little bit, but you already sense that they don't because you're intuitive enough to really know when somebody is really leveling with you, when someone's really connected with you, and they're really present in the conversation with you and present in your life as a friend, a spouse, or a coworker who organic friendship is being cultivated. Whatever the situation, whoever the person is, you're astute enough, you're gifted enough and sensitive enough to energy to know when people are sincere and genuine with you. And for the people who are not, don't give them so much of your energy. It's that simple. I don't care if you have to start from ground zero and start building your life again, meaning completely changing your social situations, including family. Anybody that brings you down, it doesn't matter who they are. Stop looking at the titles of these relationships and start looking at, how does this person treat me? Do I feel rejuvenated, joyous, refreshed, and uplifted after the conversation? Or do you feel sad, depressed, confused, anxious after the conversations? Like, stop talking to people if after the conversation you're going to feel drained, anxious, and depressed or worried or fearful about anything. Okay? It's okay to be at ground zero with yourself and start building from within. Start building up your inner self and then allow other people, that are aligned with the new you to have access to you. But you don't share and reveal all aspects of you with anyone. No one. There's some aspects in internal dialogue that's only meant to be between you and the creator. Either when you're praying, either when you're setting your intentions, either when you are just going through the day and having your self-talk, right? That mindful self-talk that I'm always encouraging you to have, because that's the mindful self-talk and thoughts that's creating your reality, that's creating your deliciousness and the satisfaction of the life that you know you're worth living. Okay? That the fulfillment that you're meant and deserving to feel and to have and to experience, right? So stop oversharing. Like, just shift your focus. Don't call the people that you usually call who actually don't support you, who don't really even care to get you. So there's people who don't have the capacity of getting you, but then there's people who don't even care to get you because they're so self-centered and self-absorbed and they only want to take and they don't want to be in the ebb and flow of giving and receiving. All the writing is on the wall. It's the question of, when are you going to start loving yourself enough and honoring yourself enough to be like, you know what? That person is not a good friend to me, so I'm not going to be friends with them anymore. Or that spouse or that boyfriend or girlfriend is not so kind to me. The relationship is not nourishing. They don't respect me and they don't uplift and honor me. So what am I doing in this relationship? It's all up to you. So what are you going to choose for you? You keep giving these persons access to you. You keep sharing and pouring out your little heart to everybody, that on all the wrong people who don't care and make matters worse, who some of them use the information against you. Either in an argument, they throw things in your face, sensitive things that you've shared with them, things that you're very vulnerable about. Stop being vulnerable with the wrong people. Start being vulnerable with you. Start being comfortable in the uncomfortability in this discovery process as you're growing and evolving and understanding more about your abilities and understanding more about who you are as a person and your physical experience. You're not in heaven. You are tapped into higher dimensions through your spiritual giftedness, but you're also having a physical experience. You're also having a physical experience. Let me say that again. And you're having a need to live your life, right? In a physical paradigm around other people where maybe a small percentage of them are as or nearly as spiritually gifted as you or spiritually aware as you. So you're living in a reality, a physical reality, the third dimensional construct where people are programmed to basically compete, to be cutthroat, to not care, put themselves first, step on people just to get on top. Like this is the subliminal programs of, oh my gosh, there's scarcity here. This is a scarcity planet. And so everybody needs to be in fear mode and competition mode, you know? And so you sitting there talking about, oh, higher dimensions and spirituality and all, like everything has its place. You have got to know what face to show and to whom. And there's times when you have to show a very assertive, loving face, right? Being assertive is loving. It's loving to be assertive especially when you're dealing with certain people. It's loving to say, not me. You will not use me as your doormat. You will not step all over me. You will not use and abuse me. Not me, because I love me. And I am not going to allow that. So the way you do that is you stop oversharing with the wrong people. Let people earn the right to have certain access to you. And then you always keep a little something for you because you never know what's going to happen with that relationship. Access to your internal dialogue and the way you truly feel and think about things, that's sacred. That's private. People got to earn that and continually earn that to have access to it. So stop causing your own hurt. When people disappoint you and people throw things in your face that you've shared with them, or people are not as open to what you're sharing with them in terms of your legitimate spiritual experience, that's not their fault. It's your fault and I don't even like the word fault or using the energy and certain words because words have vibration. So it's not your fault, right? It's an opportunity to be accountable for where you are allowing unhealthy dynamic in your life. So this is all about you. Everything starts with self. This is not about blaming you. This is not about beating you up or making you feel bad when you might already be feeling sensitive and, trying to get a handle on this very situation, these types of situations. It's about empowerment. It's about awakening. It's about expanding your consciousness. It's about self-accountability. It's about, okay, no more am I available for this type of behavior from anyone. No longer am I available to not be discerning and present with myself about what I am sharing with other people and why I'm sharing it with other people. It's time to just be quiet. Let other persons lead in the conversation because believe it or not, you're sitting there oversharing things about your personal life. You're sharing things about your spiritual gifts and they don't get it. And their brains are just filtering the information that you're sharing with them. And they could be perceiving you in a negative light. Trust me, start practicing being more quiet and watch how people start to respect you more. Start commanding some respect just by being silenced. Practice the art of silence more and listening and let other people lead in the conversation and let other people overshare with you and let other people open up to you because they feel like you're just this wonderful listener. You know you're not going to manipulate the information they're sharing with you because you're not that type of person. Or maybe you would in a certain situation. If it's someone who's an enemy, who's unkind, who's coming for you or trying to hurt you in any way, socially, right? A lot of the narcissists that you're attracting, that's coming at you, trying to slander you, bring you down, tear you down, defame your character, your good name, right? You might want to use some information and leveraging that so that you can basically not necessarily win or play or engage in this game, but so that you can overcome this obstacle and be victorious and have your emotional balance, your psychological health, and your understanding about how you're going to navigate this situation and how you're going to deal with it, that you have someone in your circle now who's literally slandering you because you're saying no more. You're not going to take advantage of me. I'm not going to stay in a relationship with someone, any kind of relationship, whether it's friendship, marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. So now you've set your boundaries. Now they're upset and now they want to slander you to your own circle. Okay? So it's all about being wise and non-judgmental. So basically, if somebody's sharing something with you, let them share with you. Let them overshare with you. Better that than you're oversharing with the wrong people. You keep getting your feelings hurt. You keep feeling sad and depressed. You keep going in this downward trajectory and vibrational spin downward, right? When you should be maintaining your frequency so that you can have the clarity to think about the beautiful things that you want to manifest in your life and the real spiritual experiences that are meant to give you signals and signs that you're on the right track and, you're aligned and you're getting lighter and lighter in your energy field and you are ascending and you're awakening your consciousness and your spiritual growth is being enhanced, right? You're meant to have this clarity so that you can know this and have these confirmations so that you can continue on your path because nobody else can walk your path for you. A lot of you are not even walking your path because you're sitting there spinning your wheels on this emotional roller coaster with people that you keep oversharing with. Just practice some silence. And I promise you that silence is going to command the respect of other people because now they're curious about you. Now they want to know, what are you thinking? Now they want to know, but now they can't get that access because access is not so easy. They got to earn it. And then after they've earned it and they think they got it, they're not knowing that you are still continually seeing if they're deserving of that right. Because things can change. We all operating with free will. There's so many different energetic thought projections that's being put out. Things are so dynamic. Life is dynamic. Energy is dynamic. The dimensions are dynamic. The third dimensional construct is dynamic. Everything is just always changing, right? So you have to be in a position of balance and positions that are most beneficial for your life, right? You don't put anybody before you. You put yourself first and stay centered in your own reality and allow everybody else to just be props on your stage. And it sounds inconsiderate. It sounds like that's too harsh, but it is what it is. When you go through certain things and when you start feeling tired of being hurt, you're going to start setting healthy boundaries for yourself. And I hope that for you. I trust that for you, that that's going to happen. I'm intending that for you, that something right now wakes up in you and say, you know what? No more. I am a loving, kind person, and I will not allow anybody else to take advantage of me and make me feel bad and not accept me for who I am and not love me for who I am or give me this sense of conditions instead of just loving me, respecting the relationship for what it is, and just embracing and appreciating my differences from theirs. That's the place I want you to be. I want you to be emotionally strong. I want you to be intellectually strong, mentally strong, psychologically strong. I want you to be holistically healthy. And so right now, I know that you're hearing this and you're listening, and I can feel and sense that something is awakening in you. That hero, right? Mariah Carey calls it that hero comes along, that internal hero that just takes over, right? That's your higher self. That's your soul essence that loves you, that wants to cultivate meaningful, fulfilling sense of peace of mind and happy and higher vibrational emotions so that you can really thrive in your life as a mystic and a spiritually gifted one. This is not time to sleep. This is a time to awaken more and more and more. It's time to stop oversharing, stop caring so much, and just focus on the things that are healthy for your life and build your life up and nurture your abilities and grow spiritually and become more solid as you. That's what time it is. So let's go. Let's do it. If there's anybody that you feel that can benefit from this podcast, where this is just really resonating, whether you just had this conversation with somebody recently and it was along the same topic, share it with them. Share in the spirit of love. Share the knowledge. Share the inspiration, because we're all connected. We're all one, but everything has its place. Everything has its place. And so you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful of how you're engaging with people and be clear on what's beneficial for your life and make sure that your life is healthy on all aspects. So share this in the spirit of love, and also understand that I want to see some comments below so that I know where your thoughts are, what's coming up for you from hearing this podcast, and, how are you feeling inspired? What is it that this has triggered? What emotion is this podcast triggered for you? Is this something that you're growing with right now? Deciphering the boundaries with the various relationships that you have, and really just putting into action, like really doing that inner work to get clear on what relationships no longer work for you and where have you overshared. And then that information that was overshared was not an enriching experience because you didn't get the response you were looking to get, or that you would have given that person if they had shared something so private with you, right? So it's like, I want you to comment. I want you to just feel free to be you. I want you to start feeling free to be you. Start being free to be you, because you're awesome. You're spiritually gifted. You came here with a beautiful purpose and intention. You are loving, the loving light of the world. You are. There's so much good that you can do on so many different levels. There's so many people that you can inspire to become better and better versions of themselves by you first focusing on being a better and better version of you, and let them really see and experience that energy and that light. But you do that in a way that's healthy for you. You discover ways of doing that where you can stay centered in your own reality and grow more and more in the areas of self-love and self-acceptance, self-discovery. It's a continual process. All of it. That's all a continual process. But you have got to start embracing yourself. Stop oversharing. Stop caring too much about negative things and naysayers in your life. And start asking yourself more empowering questions like, why they're even in your life? Why do they even have access to you? Why can't you help but to overshare with them? Get a journal. Get a journal. Like if you feel you need to be sharing, so get a journal and write out your experiences, your beautiful experiences, whether it's a dream journal, whether it's, you've had some kind of epiphany about your spiritual gifts. Write it in a journal. Write it in a journal if you feel you need to share that so much, because I know what that excitement is like. I know what the feeling of being so lit up about your life and being so supercharged and, just wanting to do all these great things. And, you're feeling so happy and joyous and you just want to share that with the world. And I get that. Write it in a journal, because not everybody else is going to get that. And when they don't get that, guess what's going to happen? They are going to burst your bubble. That's what happens. Then the next thing you know, all of a sudden, you're starting to question yourself, doubt your perception, all because you showed up happy around people who weren't happy or joyous. Or you showed up with a big vision around people who don't really have a big vision for their lives, for nothing. There's people who don't even think about like tomorrow or next week or where they want to be. Like it's just stuck in the past, or don't even have clear focus and vision and drive for anything more, for any kind of expansion, right? Get a journal. I want you to promise me one thing. I want you to go out today. I want you to go make this top priority. Go out and get a journal. I don't care what journal. Get something that calls to you. There's journals that's sold all over. Get a cute little journal, right? That resonates with you, like that speaks to you. It might be a journal that says something really positive, right? Something uplifting, right? And buy a journal and start writing in that journal. I have so many journals because I just write so much, because I've understood the key to this. Everybody does not deserve to experience that raw, vulnerable internal dialogue. So get a journal. Honor yourself with some self-loving care through this expression. Get a journal and start writing in it, right? Get a journal. So that's it for now. I'm Athena Lucine. I came to this Earth planetary construct as a galactic beacon of expanded, loving, conscious light here to guide you on your spiritual growth and your journey back to the universal oneness. Go ahead and share this podcast in the spirit of love, and don't forget to leave your comments. I will be looking forward to receiving those comments, responding to those comments. It's very meaningful for me to do that personally. I enjoy it. It gives me so much joy. It adds to all that I am. And so I am really looking forward to hearing from you. That's it for now. Abundant blessings and blissful moments.